Catherine here. I'm a doctor of natural medicine, and throughout my career, I've had the privilege of helping many CKD patients improve their condition. I helped CKD patients getting out of CKD altogether, and I worked with those who were told they had no hope, only to watch them turn things around and see real improvement.
And the good news is, you can do it too.
Do you know what all these cases have in common? They're all following a low-protein, plant-based diet. My point is this: reversing kidney disease is possible, and yes, in some cases, even getting out of CKD completely. And the most critical step in that journey? The diet. And here's where things get interesting. While most doctors still approach the renal diet as an elimination game, cutting out foods until patients feel like there's nothing left to eat, I found a better way. In my experience, it's much easier to be successful when we focus on the best foods to actually eat. Trust me, this is about adding to your plate, not turning it into a barren wasteland. So what I want you to focus on today are the 3 foods that are good for you, and you in particular. I will show you the best foods for diabetes, for high blood pressure, for swelling, and for proteinuria. Let's get right into it. The first food I want to talk about is one that's being banned for all the wrong reasons, but has proven to be incredibly helpful, not only for kidney health, but specifically for proteinuria. That food? Brown rice, especially sprouted. Let's see why this humble grain deserves a spot on your plate. Still today in 2024, many sources will tell you to avoid brown rice for all the dumbest reasons. It has too much potassium, they say, and it has too much phosphorus. Yeah, guys, these bloggers clearly slept through biology class. In fact, what they don't know is that we don't really absorb enough phosphorus from plant-based foods to even worry about it. And the potassium, well, let's just say that the connection between dietary potassium and your blood levels is about as strong as a wet noodle. You know what really spikes potassium levels? Constipation. Yep, not your rice, but your bathroom troubles. And what solves that? Fiber, my friends. And guess what sprouted brown rice has? 4 times more fiber than regular rice. Take that, bloggers. Not to mention that it has 3 times more vitamin B1, vitamin B6, and magnesium. This is why it shouldn't surprise anyone that today we are finally starting to study brown rice as a part of the treatment for proteinuria. And what we know for sure right now is that most whole grains, brown rice included, are extremely healthy for you. And being rich in compounds with anti-inflammatory properties, they can help with proteinuria. Actually, many of the foods and supplements that help with one will help with the other one as well. In fact, another food item that can really help with proteinuria is green tea. This is particularly rich in antioxidants like EGCG that are extremely effective at reducing kidney inflammation and, in consequence, proteinuria. As we can see, this compound can directly help with kidney function. Amazing! Actually, there are really a lot of reasons to have a cup of green tea in the morning. So, unless you really hate the taste or you are allergic, green tea is a must for almost everyone. Just remember you are adding a teaspoon of lemon juice to make sure the antioxidants are bioavailable. But of course, probably the most studied food for proteinuria is flaxseed. This is something I always recommend to my patients because of its incredibly powerful anti-inflammatory properties. As we can see, eating flaxseed regularly protects the kidneys from proteinuria, especially in those with inflammatory kidney disease. Okay guys, let's talk about high blood pressure now. Question: what foods are a must for patients who want a better, more natural way of controlling high blood pressure? If you want to control your blood pressure, make sure you are eating amaranth and basically any other whole grain you can get your hands on. Listen, if you don't have some whole grains in one form or another at every single meal you have by now, you might as well be playing a game of nutritional roulette. Yeah, I said it. You need tons of whole grains in your life. Why? Well, besides the fiber, vitamins, minerals, and the fact that breakfast without oats should not legally be allowed to be called breakfast anymore, whole grains also come with yet another documented health benefit. Not many people know this, but whole grains can lower your risk for hypertension by 8% for every 30 grams of whole grains you add to your diet. And this is not just my experience and my opinion, of course. This comes for a very large meta-analysis of 28 studies. Now, the review also goes on saying that eating red meat does the exact opposite. So to recap, avoid meat, eat whole grains. Clear enough, right? But why amaranth in particular? Well, besides sounding like something Gwyneth Paltrow will name her next child, amaranth is absolutely loaded with magnesium. And guess what magnesium does? It lowers blood pressure. It's basically like nature's blood pressure pill, especially for CKD patients. Now, when it comes to high blood pressure, let's not forget the basics. Keep in mind that keeping the right hydration level and completely avoiding anything containing sodium are always the two most important steps. And I mean, all sodium, especially avoid all those table salt alternatives such as Celtic salt, Himalayan salt, pink salt, sea salt, and all that overpriced crap. Guys, I want to be very clear on this. I don't care if it's hand-harvested by organic monks in the Alps. It's all garbage that's still gonna send your blood pressure into orbit. And honestly, if you're still buying that nonsense in 2024, not only will it raise your blood pressure, but mine too. I'm getting worked up just by thinking about it. So please, stop using that nasty stuff. What should you use to make your food taste like something other than cardboard? Well, spices. Most spices are healthy and some will even lower your blood pressure. And I'm talking in particular about garlic. Garlic is a superfood everyone should have regularly, but especially those with high blood pressure. And while you can use it as a spice, my advice is not to cook it. Chop your garlic before you prepare your meals and add it when the dish is cooked. Yeah, that's how garlic can both flavor your meals and help your kidneys. Okay, up next, let's talk about one of the healthiest vegetables out there, beets. Beets are, in my experience, a must for kidney patients. This food really helps lowering blood pressure, says science. This root is naturally high in nitrates, a very powerful vasodilator that will lower your blood pressure while helping the heart doing its job. Beets also contain beta-cyanine, which supports the kidneys and liver in eliminating excess fluids and waste. Now, the powerful effect this food has on your blood pressure is not just due to its content of nitrates. It's also thanks to its high content of potassium. Question: can you eat high potassium foods with CKD? Now, I can already picture the pearl clutching, eye rolling, and keyboard warriors firing up the comment section right now. This happens each and every single time I talk about any high potassium foods here on Double O Kidney. But let's get real for a second. High potassium foods are not the enemy. They do not damage your kidneys. I mean, you know what damages the kidneys? Having too low potassium levels or too low levels of any other essential mineral, except for sodium, of course. No one ever eats too little sodium. Now, do you know what happens when your potassium levels are too low? You get cramps and your body freaks out. It holds onto water like it's bracing for a draft, which causes your blood pressure to shoot up like it's trying to reach the stratosphere. And guess what? Both fluid retention and high blood pressure are out there wrecking your kidneys while your potassium level is getting the blame for everything. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that CKD patients with high potassium levels don't exist. Oh, they exist, alright? It's a common problem that needs to be solved before you've told to start axing everything from your diet. There are many things that should be done to solve a high potassium problem, and restricting the diet is the last one, not the first one. So if you have too high potassium, your nephrologist is supposed to help you solve your constipation problem if present, to give you enough insulin if that's causing the problem, and sodium bicarbonate if you need it. Last but not least, actually, This is probably the most common cause of high potassium problems. Doctors should be very careful with ACE inhibitors and ARBs doses in CKD patients. So please stop screaming at your phone each and every time I mention bananas or beets. Because remember, high blood pressure is more likely to skyrocket your potassium levels than a beet salad ever will. Okay, up next, let's see what food have the best benefits for diabetes. If you have diabetes, most fruit and vegetables are great for you. But there are certain veggies that can really make a positive difference with diabetes. Maybe the most powerful is bitter melon. Eating this food regularly has huge benefits for those with diabetes. It contains multiple bioactive compounds with insulin-like effects, and it's supported by multiple clinical trials showing improvements in glycemic control. Bitter melon is super easy to find in Asian market, and it has a long history as a natural diabetes treatment. Just like garlic, for example, this veggie blurs the lines between normal foods and actual natural medicine. In this study, diabetes patients who were eating bitter melon daily not just had a significant decrease in body weight and in HbA1c levels, as we can see, they also protected their kidney function. In fact, their creatinine didn't increase in the test subjects during the study, while that of diabetes patients who weren't taking bitter melon did. Bitter melon, yes, it's bitter, and yes, it's a melon. Who would have thought? But hey, if a bitter veggie can make your life sweeter, why not give it a try? Another food to consider is Ceylon cinnamon. Cinnamon is amazing for diabetes. It can directly improve insulin sensitivity. According to studies, cinnamon can lower fasting sugar levels by 10 to 29%, which is very, very significant. And well, not to mention that this spice will make your morning oats taste amazing. And well, basically any fruit will taste better with some cinnamon on top. Apples, apricots, bananas, blueberries, pears. So sprinkle some cinnamon on your life, because who needs high sugar levels when you have a spice that tells sugar to take a hike? Another food with super underrated kidney protecting benefits is the humble tangerine. Citrus fruits in general are an amazing source of vitamins, which is great to protect kidney health. Vitamin C is probably the vitamin with the most powerful diuretic effect, great to help the kidneys, and it's also a powerful antioxidant. The other benefit of the tangerine is its ability to help improve blood sugar control in people with type 2 diabetes. This fruit, in fact, contains biotin, a flavonoid that really helps people with diabetes. Yeah, tangerines, because sometimes life hands you lemons, but tangerines taste better and help your kidneys too. And guys, some of the foods I've mentioned are so powerful at fighting certain conditions that you could even buy them in supplement form. These could be very useful in order to benefit, for example, from the blood pressure lowering or diabetes fighting effect every day, but without having to eat the same meal every day. I'll give you some examples. Bitter melon supplements are very popular among diabetes patients. Yep, no need to suffer through bitter melon smoothies every morning when you can just pop a pill and call it a day, they say. And then beet powder supplements. These do not just lower blood pressure, they improve circulation. Really, a lot of people love them. Just don't be alarmed if everything starts turning pink. Not to mention Ceylon supplements, garlic supplements, and more. But now you may ask, why does my doctor always say no to changing my diet and, to eating anything that didn't moo at some point? And most of all, why are they so afraid of supplements? Let me explain. It's not that they don't care about you. It's the Hippocratic Oath. Do you know what the first rule of the Hippocratic Oath is? First, do not harm. So for your doctor, the most important thing to do is not giving you any treatment that does more harm than good. And of course, they are scared of a low-protein, plant-based renal diet. They know next to nothing about it, and they may generally believe that having very little protein in your diet may harm you. But of course, if you follow me regularly here, you already know that this is not the case. There is enough solid scientific literature to support the use of a low-protein diet in kidney disease patients, that this diet is what we refer to as a renal diet. Yeah, following a renal diet is the rule today. It is not just my opinion. But if your doctor still says you need to eat fish and meat, they probably don't know that the rules change. They don't know that CKD patients are supposed to be started on a low protein diet already in stage 3. All they know is that if you are, let's say, in stage 4, you are supposed to go on dialysis in about 2 or 3 years. And that's their goal for you, whether you like it or not. Look, I'm not saying you should ignore your doctor's advice, but if your doctor still thinks the food pyramid is the pinnacle of nutrition science and that stage 4 CKD means you're heading straight to dialysis, well, it might be time to upgrade to a doctor who does not still live in the 1950s. Up next, let's say you are suffering from swelling. Swelling is common because it is caused by fluid and sodium retention. Well, there are foods with diuretic properties that will help you get rid of this excess fluid. One is asparagus. Asparagus is not just a super tasty vitamin powerhouse. It's actually a natural diuretic which is very useful in order to help the kidneys do their job and to reduce swelling, which makes asparagus one of the best friends of your kidneys. My advice with asparagus is to eat it raw if possible. Just grate some asparagus and put it in a salad. That's the best way to preserve the diuretic compounds in it. And also consider parsley. It has powerful diuretic properties, maybe even more powerful than asparagus. In fact, parsley has been used in traditional medicine for ages to help increase urine production. And today's science confirms this property. While some people use parsley to make tea, I usually recommend to use this spice in moderation, maybe just as garnish. One more food with diuretic properties is ginger. Ginger has incredible kidney protecting benefits. It fights diabetes, high blood pressure, and it can even relieve nausea. Ginger can also help with swelling. So make it a part of your diet. You can consume it raw, in small pieces, or you can use it dried as a spice. And guys, if you want to see more foods with kidney protecting properties like those we just saw, my video up here is for you, and this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye-bye.